Speaking
of recipes.
It's confirmed the government can give you aliens. Like,
I believe it.
not like here's like you contract it.
What?
You've come down with a severe case of alien.
Yeah, like you can contract them now. Apparently, no. I was studying a little bit about this guy because he sort of came across my feed, but in an odd way where it was like you have YouTube videos just playing on autoplay, and then somebody mentioned him in passing in something where it was like, oh, well, this makes him look like he did the right thing and it was real. So I started looking into this guy, Paul Bennewitz, and he's an interesting feller. He was not your average crackpot who just was like, oh, I saw something. I haven't used that word in a long time. But he was the man that believed that he uncovered an underground alien invasion. Usually they invade from the top, but he was like, no, they come from the bottom.
This wasn't aliens. This was the dead people coming back to life from Poland.
Yes, they finally dug their way through.
The ones that were laid face down. They're invading.
But there's some little things that suggest the government may have been being like, let's put this out there to make it look like he is finding something. But let's start at the beginning. In 1980, so just after your guy got done with chopping down trees.
Yeah. 4 years after.
Yeah. In 1980, this man named Paul Bennewitz, who was an electronic engineer, he had a degree, he knew what he was doing. He lived near Kirtland Air Force Base in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Everybody knows aliens are in New Mexico. Why? They like to gamble, period. It's just how it is.
It's illegal in their home planet. They can only do it here.
They can only do it.
No other planet's dumb enough to let you gamble.
We have FanDuel here. Not that I know anything about FanDuel, but anywho, but from his home, he began watching strange lights above the military base, which to me, at the first glance, whatever, it's the military. They're probably signaling in their planes. It's an Air Force base. But
It's the bat signal.
he began watching them, and he began to take pictures of them. This is where he may have done something illegal. He started recording their radio signals, which I don't know if that's illegal or not. Kind of dealing with government, so whatever. He eventually became convinced that he was intercepting communications from alien spacecraft because of what he was getting.
Okay, he sounds like...
He's not a crackpot.
He sounds like a whack job. Like,
But not a crackpot.
What did he do before this?
He owned an electronic shop. Like, that was his thing. Before that, he was an electrical engineer, and he taught for a little while.
It's always the electrical engineers.
Too many
That
shocks.
was the two guys that they found with the lead masks. Electric engineers.
It's true. So he was literally spending his nights watching the desert, taking photographs of the lights that he saw. And like I said, he owned a very successful electronics company, and he understood how radio waves worked very, very well. So his company had reportedly worked with the government agencies, supplying them because he was, like I said, very knowledgeable about it, and he was very in tune with everything. Get it? In tune? That was not that good. But he lived beside one of the most, I guess you would say, sensitive military installations in the country, and he began to believe that he was discovering a threat. So he gets all of his information, all of his recordings, and all the photographs, and he contacts the Air Force Base. He's like, guys, the aliens are coming, quite literally, and he sends them all this stuff.
Coming. The aliens are coming.
Yeah, he gives the military over the photographs, the recordings, and all his writings about his conclusions about extraterrestrial activity near Kirtland. And, at first the commanding officers were like, "This dude he's a whack job. He's
Still not a crackpot though.
He one of them immediately accused him and said, "You're the worst spy in history because you're spying for another country, and then you turned over everything to us." But
What kind of spy gives away what they've spied to the people they're spying on? Here's all this stuff I found about
You're a
you.
terrible spy.
because the way he gives it is like, "Hey, I'm an electronics engineer, and I own a very successful electronics store that just happens to be right next to the Air Force Base. And I've been taking pictures of everything you're doing and stealing your radio waves and listening to you guys. This is what I found out."
Here are my crimes.
And he said, he eventually he had to meet with him in person. He told him, "I'm not trying to spy on you. I was just listening to the signals from the aliens."
So did he get arrested?
Not quite. At least not yet.
I'm not trying to spy on you. Like, they believe that.
So one of the military personnel there on the base, he kind of was like, "No, let's just let him figure out what he's looking for." And they were like, "Okay, we got to set boundaries. You can't look at certain things. You can't photograph certain aircraft," and so on and so forth. He said, "Okay."
So what happened was the military said, "We can't figure out what this stuff is. Let him see if he can do it." He figures it out. We don't have to.
It's
Well, all the recordings that he had were not of what they were broadcasting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they were like,
So maybe
"We
it
don't
was
know
aliens.
what this is." He's already got a head start. Just, figure out what you can figure out.
The plot thickens.
Yeah. So he begins to get kind of in good with the Air Force Base slightly. And from my perspective is like, yeah, we kind of have a dog on a leash sort of a deal. Like, instead of making him out to be like, "Oh, you're just crazy," he might have something. So let's just, do whatever, let him do whatever he wants to do. And there's some evidence to suggest that they did do their research and contacted the FBI and was like, "Is he on a watch list or anything like that?" And nothing came back. So they were like, "Okay, just leave him." So in enters one of his friends, a man named Richard Doty, and he became involved with Paul. He became involved with Paul, and he was an agent with the Air Force Office of Special Investigations. So he kind of had his in now. He's like, "I'm finding all these weird transmissions. This guy shows up very, what's the right word? Conveniently." And he's like, "Okay, I'm here to help you. I'm with the Air Force." According to later accounts, Doty did not steer Paul away from the alien theory. He's like, "Yeah, if it's aliens, go for it. Find out if they're aliens. See if you can crack the code and keep getting more recordings and photographs." And he basically encouraged it. So Paul was allegedly shown documents and given information involving alien contact by Richard. Like, he basically told him what to look for. So Paul goes on and he does that, and then he's brought in on certain secret government programs, something called Project Aquarius. That's a whole...
So there really are aliens out there.
Yeah.
Because he told him what to look for.
Basically, he's like, "Hey, this is what we know. Everything you've been finding, see if you can match something up with it, and then we can go from there." And he was told about something called Project Aquarius, which was like the study of aliens and trying to figure out where they were and what they were and basically find them. But instead of telling Paul that the lights were classified aircraft, or like, "No, this is just, our aircraft up in the sky," or "These are our experiments," he basically encouraged that, "Hey, there's aliens. there's a reason why we're here and our Air Force Base is here is because there's aliens. So this is where it kind of gets into the weeds of like, I think the government was like leaving him breadcrumb trails just to mess with him, see what
he
would happen.
do.
And everybody's like, well, why would they do that? I believe that for a lot of things, we are being tested as a society slowly. Like, let's see if we put out this bit of information, how the public's going to react. That's just personally me.
I have a different theory, and I want to say that this has actually been verified that this happens, but I could be wrong, so I'm just going to say it's a theory. I think that the government intentionally lets these people kind of learn some stuff and then trails them somewhere else.
Yeah.
So that way anything they find out that is true is associated with the stuff that's crazy. And so that way they can basically keep their secret safe by like, it's exposed, but no one believes it because it's attached with all this other garbage.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of confiscating all of his equipment? Then he's vindicated. Then he's valid. He's like, yeah, they took my stuff. If it wasn't real, then what's the point of them taking my stuff? Like, but they did, so it must be real. So, you know, that would make it super suspicious. But if an intelligence officer came to him and was like, hey, you're right, there are aliens. We just need you to keep it on the down low and continue to look for them. And this is what to look for. You know, that's a little suspicious to me. Like, why would the government just show up and do that?
Yeah, well, that's
Andrew,
my
what
thing.
do you say?
Andrew, what do you say?
one
You
way.
laugh now, but in 3 years, you're going to see a news article that says the government's been growing catfish the size of school buses in a lake somewhere controlling earthquakes. And you're going to say, Andrew was right.
Yep.
And I'll be in Japan wearing a tinfoil hat saying, yeah, buddy.
I was hoping you'd hit the one where he says, it's just the government. I didn't know what to say. That's the one I was hoping you'd find, but that one's just as good.
I don't know which one is which.
I think you've used that one twice.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hello, my name is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello. Hello. Have you seen those videos? I don't think I've showed you.
Andrew goes around his work going, hello,
Yeah.
because of someone named Sarah.
Oh, man. So eventually Paul's beliefs about the aliens begin to get more than just, strange lights over the military base and strange lights over my city. He became so convinced that extraterrestrials were around that they were operating in an underground facility near another city called Dulce, New Mexico. And according to Dulce, it might be Dulce. But according to other legends that he found throughout books and different writings, humans and aliens began working together beneath the ground. Enter reptilians, if you want to go there, because that's what a bunch of people say.
They go through walls or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever that woman said.
Is that a real thing?
What?
Reptilian.
Like, is it a real thing as in they exist or a real thing that people believe in though?
It's a real
I
theory.
mean, I know people believe in them
I've
because I
never
just had a
seen one.
conversation with someone about them, but I was like,
Yeah, her coworker is super deep into
I
this
was like,
stuff.
that seems a little sketchy, but I don't know if it's real or not.
I've never seen them. Do I think that
We
it
might
could
have.
be? I mean, yeah, maybe I'm
Mark
just too dumb to
Zuckerberg.
see. Oh,
If
yeah.
there's anyone who is, then it's that guy.
But Paul begins like deep diving into stuff and going way, way down into stuff. He has writings where he describes like genetic experiments and human captives and cattle mutilations and
Like,
stuff
how
like
did he get all that?
through his government source. A lot of it came from his government source, which is very weird. So he believed that the United States once made an agreement with aliens trading secrecy for advanced technology, which is his conclusion to why we were able to beat the Germans with rockets and finding the atomic bombs and stuff like that. That was his theory. Later, he claimed the agreement collapsed and that the battle occurred inside the underground facilities, which is why in New Mexico they did do some underground detonations, and it was a cover up by the government to cover up like the war. They just said, "Oh, we're just testing bombs."
See, okay, I'm just gonna pause on this for a second about that's why we were able to be. If any of this stuff is true, like if it's true, hey, we made deals and that's how we came advancements. The idea that happened then is not correct for our side, because if that story, if that information is true, at that time period, you had a lot of scientific and like that kind of mindset people, particularly in Germany, that defected to the U.S. And we have people like
NASA.
Einstein as well. Like the weapons we came up with were from Einstein's stuff that had nothing to do with it. He figured it out and didn't even want to use it for war. And we know that. However, if it's real, the Germans are the ones who would have had that advantage, not us.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones who at that time period were actually getting advanced technology that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, they had
like,
the first rockets.
Like they had, again, like I said, scientific minds, but a lot of their scientific minds genuinely were in the cult stuff. They genuinely were looking into holy relics. They genuinely were looking into. So it's like, if anything, they were making the advancements, and that's why they were able to do as well as they did in World War II. And then after World War II, when they defected and came to us, that's when we stepped in.
Yeah.
And that's why in the 50s and 60s, we had a massive elite. Now, the reality is, I think we had a massive elite because
aliens.
The Germans just had theirs, and we got those people to come here.
Yeah. And we had more resources to throw at it.
And plus, there were people like Einstein that were. I mean, Einstein wasn't U.S. He was, but
sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? We had people outside of the German Nazis that helped us, but I think that's the reality. But if it were going to be the alien stuff, our advancement would be the 50s, not World War II.
Yeah. That makes sense with the timeline.
So, yeah, it's true. I mean, so there's a bit of like a string of truth to what he was talking about, because he's describing in his writings and what he told people that there's underground bases. Okay, great. Where? Well, they're underneath Dulce, New Mexico. Okay, how do you get in? Well, I don't know that yet. I'm trying to figure it all out. That kind of went under the radar for a while. Like, okay, he's just crazy. He doesn't know how to get in.
And then the Denver airport.
Well, most recently, like I say recently, as in like the early 2000s, there was one guy that discovered he was, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was like a bushcrafter guy. He would go out into the desert and he would, survive, show people how to survive. Like, he had a YouTube channel showing people how to survive in the desert. He stumbled upon a literal, he was coming up to it, a rock formation. He gets up to it and he notices there is a seam in the rock. And this is near where this guy was at. He goes up to it and it turns out to be a door in the rock, like in the middle of nowhere.
Did he go in?
He opened it and it's concreted up. He leaves behind a trail of okay, this is where I'm at. If you see this thing, go east for, I'm just paraphrasing, go this direction for X amount of miles and you will see this rock formation. There's been a ton of people trying to go find it. Some people have found the same thing and they'll record it, and it's like they're finding little things that are like, this was painted on the wall, or this was man-made and then they painted it or covered it up to make it look
You're creating another rabbit hole that I want to go down and research and try to figure it out.
So that gives this guy a little bit of like, there might be something there.
Might be some truth to what he's saying.
Maybe. What's the reason for concreting it back up and sealing it back up? I don't know. But the main guy who found it in the early 2000s, he ended up going missing.
Yep.
Shortly after he found it.
That's what I think is so weird about anyone who gets close to like finding out about aliens or getting close to different things within the government. They just disappear.
It's a real covered thing.
That's why I think like the government just doesn't want us to find out like the truth.
There's a small part of me that thinks, okay, what if aliens were never the thing? That is just the thing that they have allowed us to consume ourselves with to cover up whatever they're doing or trying to keep. You know, it's
the human sacrifices.
Yeah. It's insane.
But I think what happened with that is the mild spoiler for you. The guy basically found it. People didn't believe him. He was trying to find it again, and he said, "Fine, I'm going to go out there and record." The first time he went, he started to go in, and then turned around and left because he felt ominous, and he's like, "I'm not going to do this." But people borderline were like bullying him in the comments. Go back, and so like when he went missing was like the last thing he said was like, "I'm going to go find it again. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to record everything." So what I think happened was he literally found it and went in there, and then they took him and killed him. And then they cemented it up because they're like, now people are going to come looking for it, and we can't have people bumbling their way in like this guy just did.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
That's what, because as far as I know, he's never been found. He's still like,
missing.
as far as I don't think they found him dead, but I think it's like he's dead.
Yeah. So this is sort of a tangent, but in World War II, we were helping other countries develop bunkers over there, in secret. So much so, I think it might be Switzerland or one of those countries over there in that general area. But they did the same thing where like up in the Alps, they would have bunkers that were so well disguised with like, they would make the door and have rock all on them. Like it was so perfect that you could not find it unless you knew exactly where it was. And they sort of, it looks like we helped them out with that. Like, hey, you have to make it like it's part of the mountain, basically. So there's a little tidbit of information for you there. But one of the things so all that to say, it could point to what Paul was dealing with. Paul also believed that he had created a computer system capable of decoding the alien messages, and the messages always seemed to confirm exactly his worst fears. The aliens were always monitoring humanity. They were hiding and operating inside of the United States underground. They could manipulate electronics and influence human minds. He had that epiphany when a couple of times he was working late at night, and all of a sudden, this is where my red flag goes up. He said he would begin to feel very sick until he closed his windows.
What?
If you've listened to our podcast, we've talked about like how we have weapons that we can aim at somebody, and just by the vibrations and the sound can make them sick and give them very, nauseating feelings, give them headaches, potentially do fatal damage to a person. So he's like, every time I would close my windows, I'm assuming he closed his blinds as well, it stopped. So maybe the government's fooling with him there. But he became convinced that
one weakness, curtains.
Yeah. He became convinced that he and his family were being watched. And at this point, it becomes nearly impossible to separate what Paul genuinely discovered from what he may have been fed, because he like basically starts just putting everything down on paper.
Does he ever come to the conclusion these guys are, or is he just eating it?
As far as I could tell, he is just 100% eating drinking the Kool-Aid.
Never suspects. Got it.
Yeah. So he begins like basically making a manifesto. He puts good information where things are like incredibly detailed down to the point where it's like, okay, we can track it down to air flight patterns from back then, as little as they were. We still had them, but he was like, this happened on this night, and I found this, and I saw that, and then it would just go like into some complete nonsense about how it just the stars were moving and stuff like that. So another important figure in the story is a man named William Moore, who was the co-author of the Roswell incident. Everybody knows Roswell. It's like the number one after Area 51. It's like the number one place that is aliens.
Yep.
Moore later admitted that he had cooperated with people connected to military intelligence, and he believed that he was helping them and that he would eventually earn himself genuine UFO secrets. He's a little bit different because he did what you said. He's like, nah, this is baloney. This is not right. Everywhere you tell me to look, I find something? No. So he was like, he became to the point where he was like, he knew what they were sort of doing. So he's like, I'm going to play dumb and just go along with it. So he believed that, you know, if I keep helping them, I'll just get the UFO secrets, but I'm going to play dumb. But instead, he just became involved in passing along information through, like, he would leak information into the UFO society online, and through books and stuff like that, he would just kind of leak government secrets, which he thought he was just being fed. And he was like, no, I'm not dealing with these people. They're incredibly insane. So he begins reporting on Paul, because he's like, this guy is finding all this stuff and putting it out to the UFO community. I'm going to go follow him. William thought he was using the intelligence to uncover the actual truth, and it's like double layered all over the place. And Paul, he looked at Paul and he's like, no, this guy got stuck in it. Like, he bit into it, and I got to help him out and get him back. So over time, he continues to watch Paul, and he watches Paul's belief become increasingly crazier and crazier and more frightening about like doomsday and everything's going to end. It's reported that Paul had an altercation with his wife because at one point they wanted to go to bed, and Paul was like, I'm not sleeping unless I have my rifle in my bed with me. Like, I get it. You put a firearm next to your nightstand, whatever, self-defense, home defense. But he was like, no, I'm putting it in the bed right here next to me. She got upset. They had a big blow up, and he basically became convinced that aliens were going to enter his home and control his electronics and harm his family. It was like that out there. So by the late 1980s, his mental condition was so severely damaged that his family eventually had to put him in psychiatric care because he was just rambling nonstop about it constantly. And he would.
Do you think that was the government's goal, was to just make him crazy?
Possibly.
To like put him off of the trail?
I think so. I think, like Jeremy said, there's certain things that the government will be like, okay, yeah, let him believe it. It's so far out there, nobody's going to be like.
They give him drugs?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
If they did. The reason why is because this also sort of sounds like experiments they did a long time ago, before this, where they would like people, it would drive people crazy.
Yeah. Like
there was-
MK Ultra and stuff like that.
There was like the story of them giving this one woman LSD, and then while she's on LSD, we're reading her notes that they got from family members, and it was stuff that they made up with her family members were yelling at her, telling her how much they hated her and stuff.
Yeah.
And just did this for months to the point where like her brain melted and she was
she was broken. Yeah.
And it sounds very similar to that, except in a different direction. So I'm just like, did they give him drugs?
They might have. I couldn't find anything concrete on that because that was one of my things. Was like
it sounds adjacent, not the same, but adjacent to like they're experimenting on this guy.
Yeah.
I think Paul saw stuff that was very interesting, and with the just by happenstance, I just happen to conveniently be here. The government official stepping in and being like, "Yeah, this is what you look for." I think that's where he began to get obsessed with something, to the point where, like, the government came and talked to me about this, so it has to be real.
That makes me wonder, like, if they did that on purpose. So
that's where personally, I think he saw something he was not supposed to see. So they did what Jeremy said is, go ahead, be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Andrew?
According to Google AI, it's false. So congratulations.
I've hit that one like 4 times.
You know what that reminds me of? And I'm not going to get into it because it would take the whole episode, but there's a whole rabbit hole on that, and it goes deep. It goes deep, deep. Anyway.
It goes deep, deep.
Deep, deep. Not just regular deep, deep, deep. But, you know, whatever he saw, he got extremely consumed by it. And the government official did not help that, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of helping him separate like reality from paranoia and people connected to the government, they continually just fed him information.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like those things back then, they did those things to figure out how we can feed the masses information. And we've been getting it all along in slow doses. Like, why does everybody run out and grab bread, milk, and toilet paper when something's going on? Like,
and eggs.
And eggs.
Yeah, and eggs. Like, what are you going to do?
Make French toast and go to the bathroom.
Yeah, like
pretty much. Yeah.
You don't need 250 rolls of Charmin Ultra Soft.
You want to hear something really, really, really pathetic?
Do it.
So during 2020, my parents got, they might have even done this before then, to be honest, because they were buying stuff in bulk. Anyway, they bought a lot of toilet paper. I still have some in my house right now. I haven't bought toilet paper since I moved in. And I still have
Are you serious?
Yes, I still have like a pack or two.
Oh my gosh.
I guess in the long run that worked out.
So, because it's like, here, we have so much, take some with you. So I'm just like, I'm almost like, probably by the end of the year, I'll start buying toilet paper.
That's hilarious.
I mean,
they were really prepared.
I don't know. There's tidbits of truth to the story. Eventually, obviously, Paul passed away, and everything about him, like there's some.
Obviously,
he was very old.
So he just passed away in the psych.
Yeah. How old was he? When did he pass away?
I don't remember, but he did die in a psychiatric home or facility.
That is so sad.
Like, it is very sad, and at the same time, I sort of think that people like him, like, will be used to steer a community, because to this day you have people who are like dead set on, yes, he was right, and the door that the Wi-Fi was covered and that guy uncovered is proof of it, this, that, and the other. And why would they just constantly feed him information if it wasn't real? And then you have the other side that's like, well, misdirection, obviously. So I think I think he saw something that he just wasn't supposed to see. And he just happened to be an electronics guy who had a degree, and the government was like, we just need to put his general direction that way and push him that way.
They kind of ruined his life. I mean, to be fair, based on what I know and understand from the story, he kind of did it to himself because it seems like he could have stopped anytime he wanted to, and he just didn't want to.
Yeah, he just didn't.
He wanted to believe in it, I think, because this William Moore was the same way.
But they also could have like, okay, for 6 months we'll do it, and then it was like, okay, you're done.
Just be like, hey, we don't have anything more for you.
To keep it go, I don't. How long did he actually?
It was like over a period of 20 years.
Yeah, like for 20 years to be doing this guy, like...
This spans administrations.
Once you see that he's kind of heading off in a weird direction, they should have...
Yeah. So when the government comes up to you and starts offering you answers, what do you say?
Andrew?
I'm good.
Hit the right button.
That's how they get you. First, it's a card game. Then it's a flock camera. Then it's a...
I don't know which one is which.
I don't know either, but...
Do I believe it? No. Do I wish it were real? Not.
We already did that one. What did you use to make these?
There's one that's like, that's just the government, man, or dude.
Not to get political.
That's the one I'm like...
You laugh now, but in 3 years...
Not that one.
So here's the thing, and I've said this before, or it's probably real.
Not that one.
According to Google, you know what that reminds me of?
No.
And I'm not going to... That's just the government, dude. I don't know what else you want me to say. The government is always going to do or say whatever it wants, and we can't do anything about it. So there's no real point in even talking about it.
I feel like you just ripped that from a podcast.
That's the first one you think you hit, but that's the one every time I was like, this would be perfect here.
No, I think the government used a poor soul and basically broke him.
Yep.
And because he got to a point where he was like, the government, and then nobody showed up. Like, it was, who are you? We don't know you. Goodbye.